Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I'm going to be checking out the GepRC Dolphin. This is a 250 gram 4-inch ultralight 4S model, and the only issue that I take with it is that they are calling it a toothpick. And to be fair, GepRC and most of the companies adding the word toothpick to the end of a product has probably been caused by a loss in translation due to Full Speed RC calling their model a toothpick, which they copied from Kebab FPV's product. And it's been interpreted as a name for an ultralight model. So if any of you guys making these products are watching this video, this model is not a toothpick. It's also not new either. Do you remember the Vifly X150 from a few years ago? That was a 4-inch quadcopter that came in at 250 grams, and I don't recall anybody calling it a toothpick. Anyways, this one's dry weight is 139 grams. They recommend either a 650 milliamp 4S, which gives an all-up weight of 222 grams, or an 850 milliamp 4S, which gives an all-up weight of 250 grams on the nose. Anyways, I've had a lot of requests to check this one out, and I'm a fan of the 4-inch category, despite it not being that popular. And I think that's because from a racing perspective, if you go for a heavy 4-inch setup with, say, 18 stator-sized motors, then an ultralight 5-inch racer will outperform it. And if you go with a lightweight 4-inch model like the Dolphin, a 250 gram 3-inch micro will also outperform it. Now, I can see why at the making of this video a 4-inch model that comes in under 250 grams is appealing, because in some countries, for the moment, it means that you don't have to wear an ankle tag so that the authorities know where you are at all times. But it looks like that's going to change, especially in my country, where all models are going to have to be registered eventually. But to get a 4-inch model under 250 grams, including its battery, some sacrifices have to be made. For example, just like the Vifly X150, the Dolphin is running 3-inch motors, which are the SpeedX 1507 3600 kV motors used on the 3-inch Signet Pro and the Cine style. The problem is, when you put a 4-inch prop on 3-inch motors, they're having to deal with more load, especially at the top end of the throttle. And kV is measured without a load, so on a 4-inch prop on high throttle will draw more current than a 3-inch prop would, and potentially have less performance if the motors can't produce as much torque as they can with a 3-inch blade. So I think the Dolphin is going to be a great product because it's come from GepRC, and they are absolutely crushing at everything at the moment. But it's going to be more of a freestyle model and not a racer, despite its racer style layout. Otherwise, I think you're going to see a lot of voltage sag at high throttle, and not the kind of speeds or acceleration that you can get from a 250 gram 3-inch model such as the Diatone 349. The props sort of give that away as well. You're given 2 sets of the HQ 4x4.3 V1S, which has more of a freestyle pitch. The frame is a really nice quality and is surprisingly not a unibody. Instead, we have 4 individual 4mm thick arms, which increases the weight of the frame, but it does mean that if you break an arm, you don't have to replace the entire frame. And it looks like you could replace an arm without having to take all of the other arms out as well. You're given this grippy rubber mat to stop your LiPo from throwing in a crash, and 2 high quality straps which fit the recommended LiPos nicely. The ESC and all-in-one F4 flight controller is a new one for me. It's actually 26.5 by 26.5 millimeters, so it's not the standard sizing, but To cope with this extra current draw, the 4-in-1 ESCs are BL Heli S rated to 20 amps with a 30 amp burst, so perhaps that's why it needs to be a bigger board. There's also a fairly hefty 35 volt low ESR capacitor attached to the XT30 connector, which does get me thinking about these all-in-one tiny boards and voltage spikes. Ideally, the capacitor needs to be on the battery terminals rather than the connector to have the best effect. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any noise in the video feed, because when they upped the amp rating on the Crazy Bee V3 boards, you could definitely notice some noise creeping into the video feed. Interestingly, it's set up in Betaflight as D-Shot 300, even though the specs say that the board can handle D-Shot 600. This made me wonder if they added RPM filters, because it's flashed with Betaflight version 4.1.1 and the PID loop frequency is set to 4K, but it hasn't come with the RPM filter firmware installed, so maybe there's an issue running D-Shot 600 with this setup. Either way, I can never tell the difference. And in general, the Betaflight setup was as good as it can be with their own PIDs and OSD setup. But as with all Betaflight models, you need to be accustomed with Betaflight to get you in the air. This is the plug and fly version, so it comes with a servo connector, and this time there is room for an XM Plus with pins, so it was actually plug and fly rather than solder and fly. It's available with a variety of different receivers though, so you'll have to check the link in the video description or the pinned comment to see if your receiver is supported. I always appreciate GepRC for providing these straws that slot into the canopy for your receivers and antennas. The VTX is the Happy Model Diamond VTX, which is power switchable up to 200 milliwatt via the Tramp protocol. And the VTX chart is already filled in for you in Betaflight. And the linear antenna is mounted nice and tight into the canopy as well, so there's no issues there with the micro UFL popping out in a crash. The camera is the 4x3 PAL version of the Cadex EOS 2, so my rapid fire module isn't going to light that combined with my Fat Sharks DVR, because I haven't done the DVR upgrade for the Fat Sharks, but hopefully it shouldn't be too much of an issue. We may get some black and white flickering every now and again. Just like the GepRC Skip, the canopy is 3D printed, which usually causes a Jallo fest with these CMOS cameras, but it's actually printed well and it isn't that flexible, so I'm hoping for good results, just like I got with the Skip. Left in the box is an Allen key and a spanner for the low profile motor nuts, along with some stickers and a card directing you to the online manual. So let's take a look at some DVR footage. This flight was done with a GMB 850 mAh 4S LiPo, and it's the LiPo I'd recommend for this model because it flew the best on it. I've got my speed trap set up, so let's see what its top speed is. So that's 75 mph on its first run, but to be fair to this model, there is a bit of a headwind, so later on I did a speed run in the opposite direction and I think it read 80 mph, so I'd guesstimate that this model's top speed is around about 78 mph, which is quick, and it's got 76 mph there, but then when you compare it to the 3-inch Diatone 349, which consistently hits 100 mph, this is why I say I think this model is more suited for freestyle, and in a race the Diatone 349 would probably absolutely destroy this thing. Anyways, I'm doing a little bit of freestyle, and on this 850 mAh LiPo, it is flying nicely. I did try it with the 650 mAh 4S LiPo and I was getting some bobbing and a lot of voltage sag. Look at the voltage on this run here. So we've got 78 mph, but the voltage sagged into the 13s, and that's with a higher capacity 4S LiPo. And I'll show you towards the end of this flight, I did a speed run with a 650 mAh 4S LiPo and the voltage sagged into the 12s on its first run and I had to back out of it, so that's why I would recommend this LiPo. Now, interestingly, I talked earlier about video noise, and I'm not sure if this is going to come through on YouTube because it compresses the video, but I'm seeing a fair bit of video noise. There we go, 80 mile per hour in the opposite direction. So maybe a capacitor does need adding to the battery terminals to get rid of some of this noise. I mean, it's not debilitating, but it's definitely there. Either way, I was enjoying flying this model, and because I was doing some speed runs, I still got a 4-minute flight time, but you can actually get over a 6-minute flight time with just normal freestyle flying. Again, just testing out the tune there and not getting any bobbing or any bounce back or anything like that. I was really impressed with the tune. They've done a good job with it. So now I'm trying to see if we get any prop wash. You can see the DVR flickering there. No prop wash with this one at all. Maybe that is a benefit of having the larger blade, because I know with the fast diatone models you do get prop wash, but you tend to find that with a high speed model you get prop wash anyways, and it's not really a consideration, because what you want with a racer is it to be fast and not really care so much about prop wash. Whereas when it comes to freestyle, you want smooth video. So yeah, just trying different conditions here, just under the trees and again through the tight gaps. This is what I do like about these smaller and lighter models. You don't have to worry so much, but yeah, definitely getting some breakup there and testing the range out. No problems with range with this guy whatsoever. So yeah, just turn around there. It's about 250 meters. I could go further, but I decided not to. So this is the 650 milliamp LiPo. Look at the voltage. It's flashing in the 12s and 71 mile per hour. I had to back out of that. And then this is with a 650 milliamp hour LiPo, just flying normal freestyle, and you can see just getting 4 minutes there, just under 4 minutes, because we really want to be landing at 14 volts, and I missed the pad because of the wind. But then look at the flight time here. I did a normal freestyle flight with the 850 milliamp 4S, and look at that, we are at 6 minutes and 20 seconds, and I'm really struggling to land on the mat again because of the wind, and I took it a little bit too far. The current meter accurate as well, by the way, if you go back and check, but of course I'm running this battery down too low. I should have landed at 14 volts. So there you go, that is my review of the GepRC Dolphin toothpick. And when I say the word toothpick, I'm using my fingers as air quotation marks. It's a great ultralight 4-inch model, but if you're buying it because you think it's going to be faster than a 3-inch model of the same weight, such as the Diatone 349, then you would be wrong. The reason to buy it is because it's got great quality components. There's no jello in the video feed. The overall quality of the copter is fantastic, and it flies great as a freestyle model. So if you wish to buy one, I'll put a link in the video description as well as in a pinned comment. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.